The NBA draft is where dreams are made or completely overlooked. Every year, franchises gamble millions on young talent, hoping to discover that one future superstar. Under the bright lights and amid towering expectations, the draft reveals an unvarnished truth. Some of the league's greatest players were once dismissed, doubted, and downright ignored. When scouting reports paint a picture of limitations and mediocrity, a few players harness those very critiques as fuel. Their stories, from underdog journeys and missed opportunities to breathtaking comebacks, are far more than mere odds. They are proof that greatness often emerges from the fringes, where every slight and every setback transforms into a stepping stone toward immortal legacy. Over the years, certain names have come to define the draft steal, a label that isn't just about beating the odds, but about shattering expectations. What might have seemed like misguided decisions at first glance turned into the most masterful investments in NBA history. Today, we dive into those narratives, exploring how overlooked prospects reinvented themselves and rewrote the record books. John Stockton didn't just look like an accountant, he played like one. A man of meticulous detail, calculating precision, and relentless work ethic. Drafted 16th overall in the storied 1984 NBA draft, Stockton's selection came during an era studded with towering prospects like Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon. Many scouts questioned how a player from a modest program could stand toe-to-toe with the league's best. Critics lambasted his unassuming, almost pedestrian appearance and doubted his physical prowess. Yet, the Utah Jazz saw something far beyond what the eyes of conventional wisdom could capture. For 19 seasons, Stockton redefined what it meant to be a floor general. His court vision transcended the ordinary, a symphony of crisp passes that wove through defenses and led his team with the quiet confidence of a chess master. While others relied on flashy, one-on-one battles, Stockton built his legacy on consistent brilliance. Over 15,000 assists, an indelible impact on team strategy, and a reputation as the very embodiment of old-school basketball intelligence. In a draft choked with luminaries, Stockton emerged as an anomaly, proving that sometimes the most underrated gems shine the brightest when given room to grow. As the Jazz rode the wave of Stockton's genius, the message was clear. True value often hides in plain sight, waiting for those with the insight to appreciate it. But Stockton's story was only the beginning of a saga filled with misfits and miracles. Imagine being written off by every major program, overcoming homelessness and enduring relentless doubt, only to ascend as a symbol of perseverance. Jimmy Butler's journey epitomized that very scenario. Coming from Marquette University and a turbulent youth marked by instability, Butler entered the draft as a raw commodity, defensively gifted yet lacking in the polish and offensive finesse desired at the next level. No major program clamored for his services, and on draft night, he was the final name called in the first round. But Chicago, ever the gambler on character, took a chance on him. What ensued was nothing short of extraordinary. Butler transformed from a hard-working enigma into the beating heart of his teams. He evolved into a five-time All-Star, a tenacious leader on both ends of the court, and a player whose determination became synonymous with his name. Every rough patch in his early life, each rejection and every setback fueled his hunger. Butler's story is a powerful reminder that raw, unrefined grit can metamorphose into an unstoppable force when honed by adversity. This narrative of relentless spirit set the stage for even more stunning tales. As teams continued to dig into the draft's depths, they uncovered talent that defied all expectations, proving that perseverance can indeed rewrite the narrative of one's destiny. In 2013, the Milwaukee Bucks found themselves with a perplexing decision: select a seemingly raw teenager from Greece with a name that most couldn't even pronounce. Standing 6 feet, 9 inches but appearing virtually emaciated, Giannis Antetokounmpo was a far cry from the prototype of an NBA superstar. His frame and status in the Greek leagues painted him as a long-term project rather than an immediate force. And yet, the Bucks saw potential beyond his physical limitations, a latent powerhouse forged in the fires of hard work and relentless determination. Giannis evolved, defying expectations at every turn. From a lanky prospect to a two-time MVP and Finals MVP, he transformed into one of the most physically dominant forces to ever grace the court. His unyielding transformation, marked by intense training and a refusal to accept mediocrity, turned initial skepticism into a reverberating roar that shook the league. Giannis's journey is not just a story of personal evolution, it is a narrative of revolution, of redefining what a draft steal can become. His rise also ignited debates about missed opportunities by teams around the league, highlighting how a single overlooked gamble can redefine the sport. In a moment that still evokes disbelief, the 2014 NBA draft served up one of the most astonishing oversights in recent history. As the clock ticked by on ESPN, the camera cut to a Taco Bell commercial just as Nikola Jokic's name was announced. Taken 41st overall, the Serbian center was no headline act. With no fanfare or anticipatory build-up, his selection was met with quiet indifference. But Jokic was not built for the spotlight. He was built for efficiency. In the years that followed, he developed a style that turned traditional expectations upside down. Without the need for explosiveness or dazzling athleticism, he mesmerized audiences with his vision, court sense, and unorthodox passing ability. Jokic redefined the role of a center by acting as a floor general, orchestrating plays as if he were an extra playmaker. His ability to see and create opportunities where others saw none earned him multiple MVP titles and a Finals MVP, cementing his role as one of the game's most innovative talents. In every sense, Nikola proved that sometimes the most spectacular talent comes wrapped in the cloak of quiet determination. His narrative also serves as a cautionary tale for analysts who rely too heavily on traditional metrics. The overlooked can indeed become transformative. Before Dennis Rodman became a household name associated with wild antics, outrageous hair, and unforgettable rebounding skills, he was a nobody. A man whose early life was punctuated by hardship and obscurity. As a young man, Rodman endured a period of homelessness and a stint working as a janitor in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. At 25, when the NBA scouts were rounding up high school phenoms and college superstars, Rodman was a nearly forgotten figure operating on the fringes of opportunity. The Detroit Pistons took a chance, drafting him 27th overall. What followed was a career that defied all conventional wisdom. Rodman transformed himself into one of the most revered defensive players of all time. His relentless hustle, uncanny ability to grab rebounds, and fierce defensive prowess earned him not only a spot in NBA history, but also a reputation as one of the most memorable personalities on the court. Rodman's transformation from overlooked outcast to a multi-championship cornerstone is a testament to the unpredictable nature of talent and the extraordinary impact of seizing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Even as his exploits off the court made headlines, it was his performance on it that reminded everyone that sometimes the greatest success stories stem from those who were initially passed by. Marc Gasol's path to NBA glory was marked by detours and personal reinvention. Long overshadowed by his elder brother Pau, an already established star, Marc was often dismissed as merely a secondary prospect. Drafted 48th overall in 2007 by the Lakers, he was initially considered too slow, too heavy, and lacking the necessary skill set for the fast pace of the NBA. However, fate had a different plan. In one of the most intriguing trades in draft history, Marc was swapped for his brother, landing him a spot with the Memphis Grizzlies. It was there that Gasol shed his old image and reinvented himself. With hard work, he refined his defensive skills, trimmed his weight, and emerged as a key leader and anchor on defense, earning a Defensive Player of the Year award along the way. Marc's turnaround wasn't merely about personal achievement. It redefined perceptions about international players and the potential for transformation even after a questionable draft ranking. His success became a blueprint for those who are underestimated, proving that perseverance and adaptation can defy even the harshest projections. The Gasol saga is a narrative of evolution, a reminder that sometimes the second selection in a family can eclipse the expectations set for the first. Nicknamed the Iceman for his cool demeanor and effortless scoring, George Gervin's early career is one of those perplexing stories that seem too good to be true. Drafted 40th overall in the 1974 NBA draft, Gervin's selection was puzzling at a time when the ABA was already showcasing his raw talent. Despite averaging 23 points in the ABA with the Virginia Squires and the San Antonio Spurs, NBA teams hesitated. Many believed he was already too embedded in another league, too comfortable in a system that didn't align with the NBA's polished play. Yet, Gervin was unfazed. He chose to remain in the ABA for a period longer than most expected, only to eventually blazed a trail that elevated him to iconic status. With 9 All-Star appearances and 4 scoring titles, his smooth finger rolls and ability to create space in the paint became the stuff of legend. Gervin's story is a striking example of how, even when initial opportunities are underestimated, a player's inherent talent can force the world to take notice. His legacy is not just about the points he scored, but the paradigm shift he set in motion regarding how scoring talent can be realized, even outside the conventional pathways. In 2001, the San Antonio Spurs added another jewel to their crown by selecting a little-known French guard named Tony Parker with the 28th overall pick. At first, many were skeptical. Parker was unproven on the big stage and relatively unknown in the international basketball community. Yet, even skeptics couldn't ignore his extraordinary speed and acute sense of timing. Parker quickly adapted to Coach Greg Popovich's system, becoming the linchpin of a meticulously crafted offense that would soon dominate the league. In a short period, Tony emerged as an indispensable playmaker, dazzling fans with his nimble finishes, innovative moves, and unwavering composure under pressure. His contributions helped secure 4 NBA championships, and he even earned Finals MVP honors, solidifying his status as one of the most integral parts of the Spurs' storied dynasty. Parker's journey is a celebration of evolution, not merely of a player, but of a team that learned to unearth value in the most unexpected places, turning a low draft pick into a perennial hero. In 1996, a young Kobe Bryant entered the draft as a mystery. Hailing from a relatively unknown background in Philadelphia, Kobe was labeled as too raw, too young, and too untested for the intensity of the NBA. 13 teams passed on him, dismissing him as a risky investment rather than a sure thing. But behind those dismissals lay a fierce determination and a secret that only one man recognized: Jerry West. West, then the GM of the Lakers, saw in Bryant something that transcended numbers and conventional analysis. After a series of electrifying workouts that left scouts in awe, West orchestrated a daring trade with the Charlotte Hornets, securing the 13th pick and setting the stage for what would become a legendary career. What followed was nothing short of miraculous: 5 championships, 18 All-Star appearances, and a mentality that came to be known as Mamba mentality. Kobe Bryant didn't simply outperform expectations, he redefined them. His evolution from a dismissed teenager to an NBA icon encapsulates the idea that sometimes a single overlooked opportunity can ignite a fire that transforms a player into a cultural phenomenon. And then there's Manu Ginobili, whose draft day story might be the ultimate example of a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Drafted 57th overall in the 1999 NBA draft, Manu wasn't even slated to join the Spurs immediately. Instead, he spent years honing his craft in Europe, where he earned accolades and built a resume that foreshadowed greatness. When Ginobili finally made his NBA debut in 2002, it was as though a secret weapon had been unleashed on the league. In his rookie season, Manu's impact was undeniable, a crucial contributor to a championship run that would set the tone for a new era in San Antonio. Over the next decade, his audacious Euro steps, relentless drives, and creative playmaking earned him a place among the game's most respected and innovative talents. More than just a draft steal, Manu became the heart and soul of a dynasty, inspiring a generation of international players and proving that sheer determination can elevate a player from obscurity to greatness. In a league built for titans, Draymond Green's arrival was anything but predictable. Considered undersized for a traditional forward and lacking the elite speed of a perimeter player, Green was the type of puzzle many teams weren't sure how to solve. That uncertainty pushed him to the 35th pick in the 2012 draft, a position where many doubted his ability to make an immediate impact. However, what Green lacked in conventional athleticism, he more than compensated for with an insatiable basketball IQ and a tireless work ethic. Green quickly evolved into the defensive anchor of a Warriors dynasty that would later dominate the NBA for years. His versatility allowed him to guard multiple positions while simultaneously orchestrating a team offense with the precision of a seasoned playmaker. With 3 championship rings, several All-Star nods, and a Defensive Player of the Year award, Draymond has etched his name as a player who defied expectations and broke every mold set for a second-round pick. His story stands as a testament to the idea that being unconventional can be your greatest strength. In 2011, the very last pick of the draft, number 60, belonged to Isaiah Thomas, a 5'9" guard from Washington, whose journey would redefine what it meant to be an underdog. Height, as they say, is no measure of heart or determination. For years, Thomas battled both on and off the court, fighting against the immense odds stacked by his physical stature in a league dominated by giants. When Isaiah exploded onto the scene in 2017, averaging nearly 30 points per game and contending for MVP honors, it wasn't just a statistical anomaly, it was a statement. Despite grappling with injuries and setbacks, Thomas's fearless scoring and leadership proved that no amount of draft day neglect could ever diminish true talent. His rise from being considered Mr. Irrelevant to becoming the heartbeat of a franchise is a stirring reminder that when the spotlight finally finds you, it can shine brighter than anyone ever imagined. Beyond the marquee names, the constellation of players also transformed doubts into historic triumphs. Consider Gilbert Arenas, who was selected 31st overall and went on to become an electrifying scorer whose passion lit up every game. Draymond Green, already celebrated for his multifaceted defensive play, redefined his role by becoming the spark plug for a multiple championship team. Even players like Paul Millsap and Chris Middleton, who slipped further down the draft boards, evolved into key contributors for teams that were once written off by conventional wisdom. Each of these stories carries a common thread. Being undervalued does not equate to failure. In the world of the NBA, draft orders are often determined by metrics that fail to capture intangible qualities: hustle, leadership, resilience, and the ability to seize a fleeting moment of opportunity. Many early first-round picks, once hailed as sure bets, turned into busts while the overlooked minority skyrocketed past expectations. When broken down, the contrast is stark. While pre-draft analysis sometimes lauds athletic measurables, the true testament to a player's worth is found in their ability to outwork, outsmart, and outperform those who were once deemed superior prospects. These comparisons not only underscore the sheer unpredictability of the draft process, but also highlight that scouting is an imperfect art, a blend of numbers, intuition, and sometimes a bit of luck. Each draft steal mentioned here emerged with a story that defied conventional projections, proving that the path to greatness is rarely linear. In retrospect, the NBA draft is less about a preordained order and more about a wild ride of potential and perseverance. Every missed opportunity, every player left on the cutting room floor, carries the possibility of transforming into an enduring legend. The tales of Stockton, Butler, Giannis, Jokic, Rodman, Gasol, Gervin, Parker, Bryant, Ginobili, Green, and Thomas illustrate that sometimes true talent hides in the dark corners of the draft board. It is those very shadows that nurture the light, a light so brilliant it forever transforms the landscape of the game. When we examine these stories, we see more than just statistics and career milestones. We witness the indomitable human spirit, harnessing every setback as a stepping stone. They remind us that nothing is set in stone. A missed opportunity by one team can become the genesis of greatness by another. They force us to question our assumptions, reevaluate how we assess talent, and appreciate that the journey to success is as unpredictable as it is inspiring. As the season rolls on and new drafts unfold, the question remains, who will be the next name whispered in the annals of history as a monumental draft steal? There's always another overlooked talent, another underdog story waiting to erupt onto the world stage. These narratives are not just a tribute to the past, they serve as an ongoing challenge to every team, scout, and fan. Take a moment to reflect on these journeys. Consider the risk and reward of every decision made on draft night and how each unheralded player redefined the meaning of potential. For fans, analysts, and aspiring players alike, these stories offer a powerful reminder. Greatness often thrives where the light is dimmest, and the true measure of success lies not in the ranking on a draft board, but in the heart, work ethic, and resilience shown once the game begins. Who else deserves a spot on this legendary list? Which underdog's journey will prove to be the most astonishing revelation yet? Let your voice be heard in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of draft steals, be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. There's so much more history to uncover, one story at a time, because in the realm of the NBA draft, every misjudged pick is another reminder that legends aren't born. They're made in the crucible of doubt, determination, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the underappreciated but unforgettable world of draft steals. Every name that slips through the cracks might just be the next legend in the making. Stay curious, stay inspired, and never underestimate the power of a hidden gem.